The segment that everyone was talking about was the final segment of Raw, and this was the Alexa Bliss Shayna Baszler segment, which many are now calling the worst final segment in Raw history, and they would not be wrong. Wow, this was bad, Trevor. So we'll go through it in just a second, but just give me your thoughts on what we saw.
Dude, I can't even tell you what we saw. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck we saw. Like, so here's the thing. Like, something that's been built up like this shouldn't be quite as bad as it actually is or was. But the whole Alexa Bliss Lily gimmick is like, why at this point? You know, it's just really bad. Like, I don't understand. It's just bad. It's just bad.
So the segment opens up with the Playhouse. Alexa's Playhouse is in the ring. Shayna Baszler joins Alexa Bliss on a swing. And then Alexa Bliss asks Shayna to apologize to her doll Lily, which Shayna has insulted over the past few weeks by calling it stupid. Stupid. Keep
That's
that
a
in
trend.
mind. So Shayna grabs this doll and she was like, "I'm sorry. Sorry, you're just a stupid little doll." And then obviously we see all these shenanigans happen. Shayna takes the doll, throws it on the ground, and stomps on it. And then we get like 5 different angles of her stomping on this doll that she's repeatedly called stupid. And then we just see shenanigans happen. We see like fire coming out from the stage. We see explosions, and this is like there's like good bullocks in wrestling. There's good weird stuff. This was not good. This was like they wanted me to take this completely seriously type of stuff, and it wasn't funny even like unironically. This was just bad. So Shayna runs backstage away from all this fire, all these shenanigans, all this mystical power that Alexa Bliss is showing on her. And we suddenly see boxes start to fall from the ceiling. And she locks herself in this closet. By the way, there's nobody backstage at all. No one in the
I don't know
gorilla
where the hell
position.
anybody is.
No other wrestlers. There's nobody else backstage at all. No equipment. No one. So she goes backstage, locks herself in this room, and Shayna Baszler looks into this mirror and she sees the doll Lily in her reflection in the mirror. And she looks back, the doll's not there. She looks in the mirror, the doll's there. She breaks the mirror. We see the lights flickering and Shayna just screaming in agony as the lights turn off and Raw goes off the air. This was a moment in time, Trevor. In 25 years of Raw's history, I don't think there's been a worse closing segment. I look, I'm laughing now, as I narrated that. I'm laughing now because I'm like, oh, okay, this is like Dungeon of Doom levels of hilarity.
Right,
Looking at it because
right.
you don't take it seriously, but it's happening now, and they want me to take it seriously, and that's not a good thing. But I really, after this happened, Trevor, I sat down and I legitimately thought. I sat down and I did some thinking. Had my phone away. 10 minutes, I stood there and I just thought about this segment. And I've been watching wrestling since 2004. I feel like it's a pretty good sample size. 15 years, 16 years
Right.
of watching Raw every week. And I thought to myself, there has not been a worse final segment. For all the contract signings, all the Stephanie McMahon promos, nothing was ever this terrible. I've and this is and you know what the worst part about it for me is the fact that they're wasting 2 of their biggest stars on their
Yeah.
roster in Shayna Baszler and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, in my opinion, she's my favorite one of my favorite talents ever. She's she's my favorite female talent on that entire roster. As a full overall body of work.
Package.
Shayna Baszler is just a beast who loves wrestling, who can go out there and kick ass. You don't need her involved in these storylines, but alas, they have her involved. Trevor, why even bother? Why even bother?
You know, so I did the same thing. I've actually been watching wrestling a good bit longer than you have, and I just went through all the beefcake, Brutus Barber beefcake barbershop shows, even Piper's Pits and in the Jake the Snake Roberts sex shows he had. Like I tried to go through all of those shows that had final segments and see how bad they actually were. The only one that came close to me, and it wasn't even a show, was the whole Vince McMahon dying in a car accident. That was subjectively bad in bad taste.
Well, that's even that was like looking back, but this was just,
like
this is happening now, and it's just terrible.
Exactly. Like it was. I mean, it was in bad taste, but this is just like, what the like? Why would they even put this together? Like, again, like I said before, like they had a good little a good positive by aligning Alexa Bliss with the Fiend and making her dark. You know, good job. Okay, at first it was good, right? Then now they've beaten the horse way too much. It's nothing left. It's not even bones at this point left of this horse that they're beating. It's just fragments. And they're still beating this horse. Like a program between these two should be amazing. It should be great. Two great talents should be good. Now I kind of just want to like, I'd rather shove like blades in my eyes at this point because it's just that bad. It's really that bad. It doesn't make any sense. Like this is probably the worst thing they could possibly do between two good talents like this. It's terrible.
I agree. Looking back at it, I never would have put Alexa Bliss with the Fiend, knowing what they were gonna do.
Right.
But can't do that. I mean, and this is just. Look, I know wrestling's subjective, right? You know, everyone likes what they like. You know, you're allowed to
people that love this.
I would love to meet someone. If you love this, let us know in the chat. If you love this, I will let you come on this podcast next week and defend this shite. But this is like, and then it's just indicative, I think, of the problems that Raw has had over the past year. I mean, like this is. I don't think anyone will argue that Raw has been the weakest of any WWE show, including Main Event and Superstars. That I think they still do Superstars, but it's been the weakest of all of WWE shows. Like it just doesn't work. You open with 20-minute long promo segments and with people droning on and on that no one wants to hear. You have unlikable baby faces like Ricochet and Nikki Cross. And again, this is not about unlikable as them wrestlers. This is like their characters. Like Nikki Cross, she's great in the ring, but her character as his white meat baby face is just terrible. Ricochet, same thing. Like why do I want to see these people win when they're just acting like dorks and doofuses every week? And and like don't get me started on the Jackson Riker thing. Like you have Jackson Riker playing a face, and then they're doing this PTSD storyline with him, like thinking. And WWE of all companies thinking they can do a mental health storyline and do it justice after the shite that we've seen come out of them over the past like 30 years. Like no, and like no one's gonna root for Jackson Riker. Like no, no, should they? Like Elias in that feud is the babyface, so it's like always topsy turvy with them, And we're seeing the same matches how many times, Trevor, do I have to watch Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre for a #1 contender shot at the WWE Championship? I've seen it like 6 weeks in a row now. It's like I mean, it's getting to the point where it's literally like, why even bother? Why even bother?
I don't.
You pay. These are millions of dollars they're pumping into these Hollywood writers to write this show, Trevor, to write 3 hours of television a week, and they can't find an interesting thought between them. And the fucked up thing is they have a show on Friday nights that they do every week that's actually entertaining. What the fuck? Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.